Hello, everybody, and happy Venus Day again. I already made the Virgo new moon video for September 2nd or 3rd, and I wanted to talk to you today about something that took me a while this year to realize that was happening. And but it's still worth mentioning, I think, because I have been looking at what's called lunar occultations for a few years ever since I read an article by another astrologer about some a period of occultations in Capricorn. And it was very connected to a lot of transformation and change that's going on. So what is a lunar occultation? Well, it's like an eclipse. The moon passes from our perspective in front of a planet. Sometimes it's full, sometimes it grazes. But what's funny about this year and going into next is that we have a whole series of occultations of the same planets, and then they stop. And they operate in a similar way to an eclipse, but perhaps not quite as impactful. Although, if we follow what's called the transit of Venus, they're very rare. And I have talked about those, and we had two of those back in, I can't remember the years now. I'm actually kind of blanking, but they are considered very impactful as well. And well, I'll show you the picture. I've made an image. You might need to pinch out or to zoom in to see it because there's so many. And I've gone into next year and then they stop. But this began in January of this year with an occultation of Neptune. In February, there was another one. Then we had a little break. And then April, Saturn, and then Venus. That's different to a transit of Venus, by the way. Venus goes across the face of the sun. But every time a planet is kind of at the same declination and passes in front of or blocks out, it operates similar to an eclipse because it blocks that energy, occults it, hides it. Anyway, you get the idea. So May, we had Saturn and Neptune, and then we also had Mars that month. End of May, because the other one was at the beginning. You can see all the degrees here. End of May, we also had Saturn and Neptune. This one, I should have moved that next to the other one. So yeah, we had, there we go, more occultations there. And then in June, we had occultation of Neptune as well. And then July, we had it. We've just had it in August. We've just had the occultations of Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And this is happening every month. We've actually got one of Venus coming up again as well. And then September, you can see occultation of Saturn and Neptune. October, occultation of Saturn and Neptune. November, occultation of Saturn. Oh, that's when Saturn stations direct, but then occultation of Neptune. December, we have two as well. And then we move into next year, January, Saturn and Neptune. Then at the very end of January, we finish with an occultation of Saturn. And that's it. I've looked like for the rest of the year and the year after. And after this time, Saturn and Neptune are both going to leave Pisces and move into Aries. So it's pretty rare to have this many lunar occultations of the same planets. Now, of these, I kind of, well, of course, they're both significant, but with Saturn being a visible planet, this means that the energy of Saturn each month is literally hidden from us. As Saturn has been going through the sign of Pisces, releasing limiting beliefs, crushing the patriarchy, basically, crushing the structures, or um, not crushing, but letting go. It's kind of saying that we're changing, we're growing, we're shifting, we're moving. And these lunar occultations are really helping. They're literally helping to eclipse the structures and old rules and old man-made ways of this is the way it's always been done, all that kind of thing. We're also occulting, literally eclipsing old beliefs, um, old ways that we just trusted that this is the way it's always been. That's very Neptunian as well. And all of this, of course, is happening in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. So I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but you can take a snapshot of these dates. But I was reminded to actually mention it to you all and make a video because one of my clients she actually had a healing session with somebody who she'd been seeing for quite some time, a kind of therapeutic thing. And she happened to have it under one of the occultations of Saturn, and that is conjunct something in her chart. Not my place to say, but she experienced the most profound kind of awakening, release, letting go of some very old stuff under this occultation. So, it's a bit late to kind of go back, but you could look back and see what you've been experiencing, especially in the areas of letting things go and kind of feeling like they just don't hold you anymore. Something I've been talking about that's happening with other things, other aspects are bringing that, not causing it, but giving that opportunity. So we're at here now. So particularly with the Saturn and Neptune. So if you have anything around these degrees of Pisces, or I'm going to say all the mutable signs, because we're in this mutable metamorphosis, we're in the mutation, literally, in so many ways. You could actually work with this, okay, to really kind of feel into it and do a big kind of releasing and shedding and letting go at that time. So in September, 15 Pisces is the Saturn, 28 Pisces is Neptune, and then 13 and 27, 12 and 27, 13 and 27, 14 and 27, and 17. Okay. And so, it's just another way, in my opinion, to open yourself up to this kind of shift and awakening and mutation that we're going through. So, there you go. Occultations for you. What a year for occultations too. And I will see you next time.